data as at 2017 reveals that 4.9 Kenyan aged 15 to 65 abuse drugs and other substances.
Been in drugs for over 14 years now. That is before I started my recovery journey.
I was in a toxic relationship. I was in a very bad relationship. And I ended up losing myself in that relationship. The person I was seeing was a very violent kind of person.
Common among the abused drugs include alcohol, tobacco, bang and mirror respectively.
And coming from that kind of a village setup where people are looking up to you like a role model, so people start speaking in the village and saying, Alienda University now, you can see what he is. So there was a lot of strain, there was a lot of stress.
I'd find myself drinking to just mask my emotions because I didn't really want to talk about it.
Addiction varies from drug and substance to behavioral addiction, which includes sex, gambling, and food addiction. Both addictions result from various factors like environmental, behavioral, and biological factors such as genetical predisposition, among others, as explained.
Key factors is the society itself and also some of our family units. We need to instill some of good values in terms of our children when they are growing up. You find that even your dad is drinking and he just goes with the kid to the bar, that kid will grow with that kind of mentality. There is the availability. We put restrictions like let people drink over 18 years and over. But what happens in our society, there's a lot of, the availability of these drugs is even into the remote areas. So, and people, we have this kind of the commercialization and money economy and then lack of jobs. So people will just sell even to a kid.
Now the first step says we came to understand that our lives were unmanageable. Actually our lives had become miserable because of these addictions. We had become unmanageable, powerless over this addiction. So basically it's the 2 points, unmanageability and powerlessness. If you're unmanageable over these drugs and powerless, then that means that you're addicted.
And I felt like I needed a drink every other time to keep myself going, So at a point when the drinking issue became now the major topic at home, a friend of mine introduced me to heroin. You get high, you relax, and you don't really, nobody realizes that you're high on anything because you actually just behave normal.
Any addiction, be it drug and substance or behavioral addiction, leads to very sad experiences and effects that one would wish it never happened.
For me, it was basically the point where I lost my school fees, I lost some relationships, I was thrown away by my family. I had a job, a business I had, and instead of even using the profits, I was even using the stock money to go gamble. Many mob justices in town, so I was taken to jail institutions. So the only thing that was remaining was either I recover or I die.
So I wouldn't advise anyone to do drugs. As in, don't try them. The answers are two. You either realize either you are an addict or you are not. And most of the times people get addicted. So it's not really a good thing.
I couldn't complete my university degree, which was doing at Nairobi University. And I couldn't actually even be able to keep a coin in my pocket. I enrolled to several jobs. I had several jobs. All of them just went down the drain. The family relations became very strained. And at one particular moment, I thought I was just literally going insane.
Most of it is a waste of time. I've wasted a lot of time and chances in my life. I've had good jobs, lost, and I'm starting at zero. I don't think there's anything on me at the moment. I'm starting again. I'm in my late 30s, not married, so I've lived an abnormal life.
So these behavioral evidence all over, you have women all over, we have food all over. The best thing is to go to a correctional facility. Even if the people who are treated there is alcohol people, go there, look at the 12 steps, Google them. I may not be able to explain all of them at the moment. These steps are they are simple but not easy. So to heal from an addiction, the step number one that is always there is that you have to understand that your life has become unmanageable and you are powerless over the addiction. If you don't understand that number one step, then there is no way you're going to recover. Because some of these people are still in denial. They say, I'm not an addict, I'm not a sex addict, this is coming to an end. If you have that mentality, it's very hard. You have to understand, I have used a lot of money, I have been sleeping with these women, I have been gambling and I have used up my money. I have no other way, I can't help myself. No one can help me except a higher power who is God. Which brings us to number 2. Came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore our lives back to sanity. You know, before our life had something we call insidious insanity, where you keep doing the same thing expecting a result. Then which brings us to step 3, which basically says that made a decision to turn our life and our will over to the care of God.
The journey to overcoming addiction may be tough and rough. However, one should never give up, as there is always much to celebrate at the end of the day.
First month of my rehab was a nightmare. I wouldn't say it was a good experience for me. The withdrawal effects of heroin are just 3 days. You don't feel any pain, but now the discomfort associated with heroin is too much. You're not sleeping, you can't eat well, you are uneasy. There are all sorts of weird things happening in you. At a point I could not even walk. I couldn't walk because my nerves were reacting very badly to the withdrawals.
Rehabilitation was life-changing. At first, I didn't really want to go to rehab. Like, I had that stigmatization that was like, no, I don't think I'm that bad. I don't think it's gotten to that point. But with time, I got to think about it in another perspective. It's not really about the addiction, it's not really about just the addiction, it's about finding yourself again. So going there, you get that time to actually reflect on your life, to actually think about all the choices you've made, to think about where you are and where you want to go. So I found myself again when I went to rehab.
I missed my graduation because of the rehab, because I was in rehab, but at that point, it didn't matter. Even if I graduated and got the best job, I would still lose that job. So the only thing that mattered at that time is my recovery. It was so precious because my recovery will bring in now the graduation, will bring in the best people in my life to give me the best job. But without that recovery, I would still live the same way I had lived. So I had to first seek that rehab intervention.
I remember my counselor telling me, take this as like an holiday vacation and shut the outside world. So when I was able to stick to the program, shut the outside world and think about myself, it became very easy for me.
To come into the program, you have to have 3 things. Into this 12-step program, you have to have 3 things: open-mindedness, humility and honesty, and number 3, willingness. If you believe you have a sex addiction, alcoholism, an alcohol addiction, take it a day at a time. I find people on 31st December saying that next year I'm not going to take alcohol. Then on 2nd January, they have already taken alcohol and they become disappointed. Why not say, today is that June, I'm not going to take alcohol for today. When it gets to 11:59 p.m., clap for yourself that you didn't take alcohol for today. Just for today, I'm not going to take alcohol. Don't bring in time frames for 1 year, that in 1 year I'm not going to take alcohol. Just take it a day at a time. Then another thing, avoid even that fast sip.
So the first thing the society should know is that these people are sick. Secondly, love them, not by giving them money to go do drugs, but don't really put it on their face that they are failures. Don't put that into their heads, because that is what happens. People are always saying you're a failure, you can't think, you can't do, what kind of a man, what kind of a woman. such things are not supposed to be there. You should give them a chance to know that they are human beings and make them realize there is help out there so they can seek help. My uncle told me there is hope. You know, that encouragement, because it's like I was in a point where I had given up. And as I went to rehab, I said, anyway, I can do this for this guy.
People battling with addiction, like any other person who is sick, needs our care, love, support and understanding in order to recover from their situation.
Well, people need to accept that addiction is real and it is here and it is a disease and people don't really have control over it. People need to realize that people going through addiction really need help and they need a lot of support. For me to actually come here and talk about this, it took a lot of strength, you know, because we fear what society will say. We fear about how people will judge you. But at the end of the day, I realized that this recovery, it's a personal journey. It's not about what people will think, what people will say. It's about what you want to do with your life and what you've decided. So what I tell people who judge addicts, I tell you to do more research, get to understand the problem and be part of the solution.
If someone is suffering from diabetes, what do you do as a family or as a society? You take care of this person, you give the utmost love that there is. That is the same thing what is happening to an addict.
As a parent, don't judge your child. Take them, show them you relate, you understand what they are going through. Take them to someone you know they can trust. Find someone, if it's an uncle, if it's a village friend or a nested friend whom know that they can trust. And don't even ask what happened, what did they tell you. Just try to support them in every other way. Don't judge them. But it gets to a point, on the other hand, where you have to leave them to hit rock bottom. Because if you don't let your child to hit rock bottom and know that this alcohol has messed up my life and I need to find attention and a rehab or someone to help me, then you will be a helper. Someone who is helping them all the time. They lose money, they lose their phone, you buy them a new one. It doesn't work like that. They lose their job, you give them money all the time. You are actually a helper, not someone, you are actually an enabler. We call them enablers. You are enabling them to take the alcohol, to go gamble, instead of making them hit rock bottom and say that I truly need help. I got to a point where I hit rock bottom, where no one wants to pick my call, no one trusts me anymore with their money. And it got to a point where I realized if I continue on the same way with life, it might catch up later with me and it may be too late.
Addiction cutting across regardless of age and gender, children are not left out, and so we have to take measures to protect them from this menace.
First of all, let these teens be engaged in activities that will keep their minds occupied. And the activities that they are engaging in activities that are very beneficial. We have a lot of interventions in terms even from the churches and even from some of these organizations. Why don't even them try to volunteer into some of these noble causes that are out there? They can even volunteer, not necessarily even money, they can volunteer their own power, human power. Like if, for example, just going and visiting these people, not necessarily giving anything. So they need to be more engaged and also given some specific tasks to be done at home. You know, I know it's also an issue of also them being taught about personal responsibility and learning to take care of themselves. So when they're also taught about their personal responsibility, taking care of themselves, even if you have a house help at home, at one particular moment, even make a schedule that today, you, my daughter, you are the one to cook for us. You are the one to maybe wash the dishes. At least they are engaged in some of the activities. Instead of they just wake up, they find breakfast is prepared. Let them even have the time that they are the ones who are supposed to go for the shopping, for the groceries.
And now for the addicts, they should know there is hope. As long as you need help and you know you need that help, then you are good to go.
Turning to substance abuse is actually more of an escape. It simply shows you that you can't really deal with your own reality. So the best way to handle it is to actually talk to someone. If you're feeling like you're having an issue, talk to someone, reach out to someone. If it's your family, talk to your family. You can even decide to do therapy. You know, like reach out and get help. Don't resort to drinking or using any other drug of choice that you may find as a suitable escape for you. It won't really end well.
You know, sometimes you say you have to get tired of getting sick because it's an illness. So say you are just tired of it, and from there, when you have that kind of an awakening that actually I'm in a bondage, I'm in a kind of a slavery, then I need to break free. When I need to break free, I just need to take a day at a time. You know, the most people, they want to quit at home, but they want to put themselves a limit that I'm going to take maybe a week nikikaa sawa, that will be fine. But no, it needs to be taken slowly and slowly and leave any reservations. So you have also to change your mindset. Like the way I have been doing things, it has to change completely. The old things that you are doing, you have to change that old kind of way of thinking. You cannot be able to continue sticking with the same friends. You cannot put liquor in your house and still expect to stay sober. You cannot expect to stick with those people, the buddies that you are using with, you are not using and they are using, and expect a different result. No, you have to complete paradigm of shift. Like the ideas and old ways of thinking have to stop and now become a new person.
Then in these alcoholic anonymous places, you can find someone who will be your sponsor. A sponsor in our meetings, we call them someone maybe who has gone for 20 years without taking alcohol, without gambling, and they were addicts then. Then they are going to work with you. Every evening they are going to tell you, call me every evening. And every evening you'll be telling them, I feel anxious, I feel like gambling. This is something they had experienced then. So telling them that, they will tell you how they were able to overcome it after quitting. And they will walk with you on the journey. They will tell you, don't go with that money to that place that you're going to. Don't take that sip. Sometimes you may feel like I'm 15 years sober. I can take alcohol now comfortably. Only find yourself back to the same pit. This someone will tell you, no, don't take that sip. It will take you to where you are, even if you are 15 years sober for now.